Well, Islamabad United continue their winning ways. Is now back-to-back wins for them. 3 back-to-back wins and a stunning performance in the field with the bat, with the ball. They just seem like a force to reckon with in this HBL PSL 10. Remember, they are the defending champions, and a jubilant captain, smiles all round, and why not? They've earned it. Just a quick reminder of how things went in this game then. Islamabad United making 202 for 6 in their 20 overs. Saibzada Farhan amongst the runs once again. And a solid 48 of 25 from Colin Munro. Haider Ali chipping in along with Holder, who's done well with the bat and the ball for Islamabad United. In response, Multan Sultans falling short. They were bowled out for 155 in their 18.4 overs, with the Rizwan the top scorer. Overall, Islamabad United winning by 47 runs. Just a quick look at the table as well then. Islamabad United are right at the top. They've played 3, won 3, and then you've got Lahore Qalandars behind them. Remember, they won their game against Karachi Kings yesterday, so sitting on 4 points. And in the end, the top 4 teams will be qualifying for the playoffs. Great to be back on pitch side, and it's been a stunning win by Islamabad United. Like I said, they certainly seem to be a force to reckon with in this HBL PSL 10. And to talk us through how they've won today, I've got a very, very special guest here with me. Colin Munro joins us alongside Dominic Folk. Colin, many congratulations once again. Islamabad United, like I said, seem to be the team to beat in this HBL PSL. What do you think has been, the reason behind their success? It's been just consistent performance. They've started off from where they left last season. You were there last season as well. There seems to be a common theme of winning. Why do you think they've been so successful?
Well, I think first things first, we obviously spoke about what happened last year and we won, but it's a different squad. It's a different, there's players that have come in, so we don't want to just think that we're the same team as last year. We're a whole new team, so we've left what happened last year. Yeah, we celebrated it well, but then move forward now with a new bunch of players and try to make some really good memories with the guys that we have now. So, we've come out and we've played 3 really complete games. We don't want to be playing your best cricket too early, so hopefully there's still some room for improvement.
And is that something you worry about? Because obviously there's a lot of commentators who thought about don't peak too early. Do you worry about that as a side, or do you just think we just try and win every game?
I just think try and win every game. Mike Hesson always says you want to peak at the right time in the tournament, but if we're playing good cricket and we continue to play good cricket, why not? I've been part of a team where you've gone through the whole competition and won every single game, so why not?
I'll ask one more question, sorry,
sure.
Zainab. What makes you so consistent? You travel all around the world playing T20. Why are you so consistent?
I just think the older I've got, the less I've really cared, to be honest. It's, when you really want something so much, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So you're more relaxed is what you're trying to say, because you just think, this is me now.
Yeah, exactly. And, you speak to people 2 years ago, it was like, I've got 1 tournament left. And then you do well, and then you get that hunger
One
back.
more.
Then you get another couple of contracts, and then you're like, okay, I need to push on for another year. And I don't know when the end is near. It's obviously near, but I don't know when it's going to come. But just trying to enjoy everything. Whether it's playing here, Big Bash, CPL, whatever. So just still trying to enjoy it. As long as I'm playing with a smile on my face and enjoying my cricket, that's the main thing.
You were talking about not caring, but one thing that you've cared about is your fitness, because that's the one thing that keeps a player going. And longevity in the game is very much dependent on that. So is that something that you particularly work on?
No, because if I said yes, I would be lying. But to be honest,
but you look in great shape.
Thank you. To be honest, though, I wasn't in greater shape going through the Big Bash. I did my hamstring there, so I had 2.5 months off, and I really decided to, rather than just do my own program and go through what I want to do in the gym, I got a personal trainer, just even if it's twice a week, just to hold me a bit more accountable. Because there's nothing worse than, yeah, you can score runs, but if you can't field or run to the ball and stop twos, you're letting your bowlers and your team down. So it's just trying to maintain those standards for as long as I can.
Tell us about this top order that you've got. You're part of that top order. Is it something that Mike Hesson is talking about, how to attack in the power play? Is there certain totals you're looking at, or is it just you go out there and play your own game?
Exactly how you finish. Just go out there, play your own game, assess conditions. Farhan is in the form of his life, scored, 400s, saw him batting at training. I was absolutely flabbergasted no one actually picked him up in the draft, because he actually he batted beautifully for Lahore last year, second top run scorer for them. To not get retained, that's okay. But then to not get picked up at all, I thought that was a bit rough on him. And you know, lucky we got him at the end there. And you know, he's come in, and you know, I asked him exactly the other day, like, how have you become so consistent and played? Because it's not always going to happen. But he said that he's been hitting more balls and he's working harder on his game. He had a taste of playing international cricket. It didn't go to plan, but he wants to get back there, and the hunger is there because he's the first one on the nets, and he's literally the last one out. So yeah, he works incredibly hard. So you know, all the success that he's getting now, he fully deserves it.
I mean, you spoke to Jason about this as well on Mike Hessen's influence on the team. I mean, seems like a very sort of unassuming character. Not, you know, you have different characters in terms of coaches over the years. We've seen all kinds. What kind of a character is he?
Well, Hess is great because he doesn't come with an ego of having played the highest standard of cricket or anything. So he doesn't he expects high standards of you, but he understands the game. You know, he's a real student of the game and understands exactly that things aren't going to go your way all the time. But when it is your day, try and make it happen and make a big impact on the game. And I think one thing I've learned from him, and even when he was coach of New Zealand under, you know, with Brendan McCullum, was he doesn't always just talk about the guys that did match-winning things. You know, it's those little impacts of, you know, it could be 10 or 3 balls at the end, or it could be somebody running the last over of the game, even though the game's won, somebody's running to stop a boundary, or those twos, just those little things. So everybody's feeling included and actually wanting to be part of the team out there, whether it's like even today before coming, he said like, well done to the 12th, 13th, 14th men from you know, the last game, because you know, they're not always getting on the park, but they're looking after us really well.
And they're part of the squad. That's why he's doing that. 3 from 3. What can you improve on? What can get better with the side? Because obviously you want to get better. What can go better?
Well, I just think a little bit of execution with the ball. We've spoken about it, you know, and then in the field tonight, I think it did get a little bit dewy. Myself included, a couple of fumbles there. We can clean up a little bit. But yeah, I don't think we can search too much. We've played some really good cricket, and sometimes you just got to say we're actually playing good. We don't actually have to search too much because we've played 3 really good games.
Well, it's very evident that the team environment is great, and you know, you spoke about the influence of Mike Hessen, but what about Shadab Khan? Because he's been with Islamabad United for a while, and one thing that we've seen is that his own performance also as a leader, you know, speaks volumes of the kind of leader that he is. I mean, he's in particular done well for Islamabad United, and what kind of an impact do you think he has on the team?
Oh, he's massive. Him and Rayhan get on really well. You know, and Rayhan picks the team and wants good people involved. And Shaddy's the same thing. You know, if it's a like for a player, he'll get the better character or the better person that's going to offer more to the team. Not necessarily winning performances, but who can fit into the changing room really well. Shaddy's a leader by example. He's not a big talker, but when he's angry with you, he'll let you know. And I think that's what I really respect about Shaddy, is that he's not just going to, you know, whether it's an overseas player or whether it's a youngster, he's going to treat you the same. And I think sometimes in Pakistan that doesn't really go, you know, it's because of the hierarchy a little bit. So maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but in cricket we're all the same. You know, whether I've played 400 games or Mohammad Shahzad's played 2, we're exactly the same. You know, if he wants to talk up in a team meeting, he can go ahead and talk up. He's not going to get shut down, even if it is something that might not be what we're trying to achieve. It'll be like, cool, thanks for your input, but we'll rather do this.
Speaking of Rehan, he mentioned the fact that there's a story that you need to tell. It's about your category. You were initially in the platinum category, and now you've been picked in the silver category. Is there something that we're missing that you need to tell us?
Yeah, I got my own back on him though, to be fair, because I was in charge. Obviously, I was in silver this year, and got my own back. I'm in charge of selecting the teams for soccer volleyball. So I made myself a little draft system, and I'm not. Yeah, the standard of soccer volleyball here in Pakistan is not of the highest caliber, unfortunately. So most of the overseas are on the top, and platinum, Dorcas and those boys. And then Rehan Bhai, unfortunately, he had 3 opportunities to actually perform, and he was terrible. So I couldn't put him any higher. So he's in the silver category. So yeah, he's not happy. He's not happy about that, but he's performed, and the standard of football has actually gone up really well. So really looking forward to what's. I think tonight was a tie because we were running out of time. So, you know, the red team is leading 1-0 out of the 2-game series. Another 3 to go, and then we'll reassess those.
Do you know what it sounds like to me? It just sounds like you've got just a lovely bond. Everybody gets on, everybody gets each other's humour, and I think that is putting you in good stead trying to win back-to-back tournaments.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think, you know, Nawaz has come in and he's added value to it, you know. Salman Aliaga's great character, you know, captain of Pakistan, leads by example. We've got some really good characters. Imad Wazim too, you know, and guys that really give back to the group, and I think that's hugely important, whether they're performing, whether they're not. I think Rayhan's done a really good job in getting good characters in the group and, you know, go out there and play for each other.
He's covered it up, basically called him terrible first, and now he's done a great job with the team.
He's terrible on the football field, let's put it that way.
Well done. We saw what you did there. He's making sure that
Who are you, footballer? If you had a footballer, who are you? Are you Ronaldo? Are you Messi?
No, I'm terrible.
Oh, you're not good?
Yeah, no, I've got a left boot and it's pretty heavy.
So is Messi, but he's still good.
Yeah, true. No, I'm terrible. I've got no pace anymore and my touch is pretty heavy.
Even Stevens then, they're both terrible in different aspects of different games. But thank you so much for your time, Colin.
Brilliant.
It's a pleasure to have you here on Pitside. Wish you all the best for the remaining games, and that was pretty much all that we have from Colin Munro. But we're going to take a short breather, and when we do come back, we'll be joined by a new guest. Don't go anywhere. On Pitside, stunning win then for Islamabad United. We've now been joined by Lisa Slaker on Pitside. Lisa, there's so much to love about Islamabad United. I mean, we just spoke to Colin Munro and he was talking about the team environment that they've got, and that's very much reflective in the wins that we've seen from them so far.
Yeah, obviously there's always going to be a happy camp when you're winning, but you have to create that culture, and they've done that already. They did that last year, having won, and we heard Colin Munro said, well, we celebrated that. It's still a new group, but there's still some core people that are there, and they know the winning feeling. They know what a good culture is, and they actually set the tone. So it's those senior players that have enabled this culture, this happy culture, winning culture again in HBL PSL 10.
You're talking about senior players. There's one senior player who's really been setting the standard for Islamabad United. He's been making that ball talk, really. He's been getting a lot of wickets for Islamabad United. Jason Holder is our player of the match.
Well, you can't believe that it's his first PSL, because he came in and picked up 4 wickets within his first game, and then he's picked up another 4 wickets tonight. And I said to him before the game, I said, oh, well bowled. And he goes, well, I actually haven't played a lot of cricket, so maybe it's best when fresh. He's gone back and had a bit of time at home and played a bit of first-class cricket, but he's certainly positive.
Well, we're talking about how consistent he has been in this HBL PSL. He's now the leading wicket taker, 9 wickets in this HBL PSL so far, and he's really been the star of the show in this HBL PSL. Koki, I mean, there's so much to love about him as well. We'll talk about Jason Holder. He's not only taking wickets, but he's also got a role to play with the bat.
Runs, wickets, catches, and you just look at the top 3 there, Islamabad United and wicket takers. That's why they're up there. But yeah, I think it's the lengthy bowls as well. I think, we've all done pitch reports, myself and Lisa, we were out there the other day. I think it's a sort of pitch here where somebody who bowls back over length and obviously takes pace off as well has been successful. It helps because you're 6'6", and he's getting that height anyway, and it's like coming at you. But ultimately,
I wonder what that's like.
No, never had that. Or pace, didn't have any, or ability, didn't have any of it. But that's exactly how he does it, and he's always been a very good player to have in any side, any form of the game. He's a multi-format player, so it doesn't surprise me that he's doing well. And that just shows that, go back to Mike Hesson, bringing in somebody like Jason Holder, it's clever.
Absolutely. So their bowling is sorted, but their batting, their top order has also been sorted, because they've got somebody like Sahibzada Farhan at the top, and then one down, they've got a player like Colin Munro, who was striking at 192 today. Let's have a look at some of his 6s today.
Just a little coaching tip really here for you. Just watch Colin Munro. Just watch how he stays still. He uses the pace, goes deep in the crease. When he gets a chance, he goes down the ground. He's a quality player, and that's why he's always up there with runs and 6s.
Yeah, definitely. We're talking about that top order. You know, they've got the likes of Colin Munro, Saibzada Farhan. But let's not forget that, you know, in the bowling department, there's Shadab Khan who's leading the way in terms of their spin. But you've also got Imad Wasim. So a utility cricketer can bowl in the power play. You know, everybody seems to be doing their job.
Well, you know, I think we've all watched enough cricket and understand cricket to know that you have your role. And sometimes you have to come out of your role. You always expect Imad Wasim to bowl with that new ball first over. Well, he didn't do this time. He bowled the last over of the power play. Never easy. Never easy to bowl in a power play. So it's also having the ability to be able to switch from what you normally do. Imad Wasim is you know, one of those senior players that, I'll go back to Mike Hesson, get the best out of a player. And that's what he seems to do, whether he's been to 4 different franchises, bring in some experience, and that's what Imad Wasim brings you. And so Mike Hesson plus Shadab Khan get the best out of him.
2 back-to-back losses for Multan Sultans. They've been conceding, what, you know, over 200 runs in both the games. Is their bowling a concern at all?
You'd have to say so, wouldn't it, when you kind of are leaking over 200 runs. And I probably look more at the death bowling. I think they went out of the last 5 overs, 2 for 72. They were actually in a good position, but then they just let it go. So whether it's they're going too much length, or maybe they're not bowling enough slower balls, or maybe they're not hitting the Yorkers or the wide line, and you cannot leak that many runs. I know it's some of the hardest places to bowl, because when batters are in, they'll go hard. But you've got to find a way to answer that.
Let's not forget the batting role as well, because you have Rizwan and they seem to be heavily relying on him. But what about the other players that are around him? Somebody like Usman Khan. Remember, he got a couple of hundreds last year in the HBL PSL on this very ground.
Yeah.
They need to step up.
Well, of course they do. But I think when you get 200 twice, I think the job has been done there. And if I'm honest, I think they had totals on the board against Karachi. They've had a total, you know, when you look at it, you think, okay, well, not 200 twice, but 200 and then trying to chase down 200. So I look at more as the bowling is the issue. And the reason, I think you're spot on, Lisa, what you said, they really brought that game back. They were going to concede 240 at one stage. So they brought it back, and then they tried to get a little bit clever. They thought bowling slower balls length. Well, you ask any batter in the world, what does he want, or what does she want in that particular time? You want a length ball, slower ball, so you can get your hands through it. I didn't see enough Yorkers, you're spot on. I didn't see enough pace deliveries. I don't see enough bouncers. I just want to see something different, because on flat wickets, it's all right putting your hand up and saying, well, it's a flat wicket. It's not my wicket. Do something about it. Have some ability and have some knowledge and have some understanding that you've got to do something. If you can bowl 88 miles an hour and 90 miles an hour, bowl 90 miles an hour, whether it's at your shoes and, you know, give yourself a puncture, you know, wheels out, or up here. I just think sometimes bowlers, because bowling coaches say, well, we've got to bowl slower balls, we've got to do something different. Just bowl Yorkers, bowl bouncers. It's easier in the studio now.
Corky's coming off the long run there.
No, I just think that you have to look at it that way and be honest.
Easy.
And bowlers have to be honest and take responsibility when they have it. And I don't think they do take that responsibility enough.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts. It really is about going back to the basics and trying to execute the plans well for Multan Sultans. But still a long way to go in the HBL PSL. The action continues, and so does this pitch side studio on the other side. Fabulous win there by Islamabad United. It's now 3 back-to-back wins for them. So congratulations are in order. I'm sure they're going to carry their momentum into the next game. They've been the most consistent side, the defending champions of the HBL PSL. And now I've been joined by 2 new guests in the studio, Bazid Khan, and for the first time on pitch side, Mark Nicholas. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure you're having a great time so far. Well, we can hope that you are. Tell us how you're feeling to be here on pitch side.
Great. Chairs are wobbly. I've got the movement going. No, it's lovely. Always nice to work with you, I have to say, and to listen to the dry wit that Bazid brings to the show.
Absolutely, Baz.
Not at 1 a.m. surely.
No, you can't. 1 a.m. you're no good at the dry wit.
Trust me, a lot of people are watching pitchside at 1 a.m. So be careful what you say, because they are listening and they are watching you, Baz. You've got a lot of fans out there who want to talk to you about why Multan Sultans is not doing well. And I'm going to talk to you about that as well. Islamabad United has been the most consistent side. It's also the pick, your pick, because you've already sort of tipped them to be perhaps the winner of the HBL PSL 10.
My job is done.
Your job is done, but you can still talk about why Multan Sultans is not doing well, because they look a good side on paper. I mean, where do you think they're going wrong?
I asked Rizwan this, and I think he was on the same page as I don't think they've actually found out what their best 11 is as yet, and I don't think they actually know who their best fast bowlers or spinners are, or not necessarily all the bowlers, but the combination of the 5 bowlers that should play. So they're still work in progress. It's only been 2 games. The first game they should have won, barring fantastic innings from James Vince, but I still think that they're searching for their best possible combination, and that's where they're at right now. Just when they go back to Multan, normally when they go back to Multan, they're a different side. They play very well in Multan, so it is important for them to win outside Multan, but they'll be comforted by the fact that they're going to Multan pretty soon.
Islamabad United, though, Mark, seem to have got their 11 right. In fact, even when they've made changes in their squad, whoever comes in seems to know what to do, know their role really well. So everything seems to be working well for them.
Yeah, it's a great feeling for a captain to be able to name pretty much anybody he wants to from his squad, because they're all in form. And confidence is something that spreads throughout a team pretty quickly when you're winning. I think in the shortest forms, you do get momentum. I'm not sure you do in test matches. I've never really believed that. I think it's much easier for a test team to climb back into a match over 5 days. But once you get on top of these games, you're pretty hard to shake off. They've got most bases covered. They brought in Jason Holder, who's in very good form. He's not the greatest talent in the world, but he's one of the best thinkers. He's got an excellent temperament, and he's a very efficient cricketer. He does all those simple things well. He knows the slower ball. He knows the Yorker. He knows how to catch the ball. He'll catch it at slip. He'll catch it in the deep. He knows how to wait for the moment at the death to go hard. And he proved all of those things in his cricket today. So that is quite inspirational to the others. I'm very impressed with them. I think they look a very well organised side. I think they'll be tough to beat.
Absolutely, you know, they do look very well organized, Baz. And I mean, one of the reasons why we've spoken about it as well is down to the fact that they have such a great team ethic. You look at that side, and one thing that stands out is the fact that they play like a team. Everybody seems to be very clear about what they're doing out there. And, you know, they've got a coach in the form of Mike Hesson, who perhaps is an unassuming character. We've spoken about that. But he seems to create an impact.
Well, he's brilliant at his job. He's very shrewd. He knows how to maneuver in a T20 game, which is quite difficult to do. But he actually thinks it out pretty brilliantly. And tactically, even today, you look at the tactics they employed. Jason Holding bowling round the wicket to Iftikhar. Iftikhar is very good with the pickup shot, but they thought that he struggles against left armers, so they created the angle from Jason Holder around the wicket, and then Shadab himself bringing himself on when Rizwan was batting because of the matchup. So they think things out. Also, yes, they are winning, but normally throughout these 10 years we've seen Islamabad, it seems as if it's a happy unit. They come together, they play the PSL, and then they go off. Everybody disappears, but once they come together, it just seems as if everybody's quite happy and quite relaxed. Even the players who leave United, they always sort of reminisce of their time with them. So it's quite a close-knit, a happy unit, which is always a sign of a unit which will probably win most games.
I tell you what, I'd pick up on Shadab too. I think his leadership's good. I think he's inspirational. You talk about a happy unit. It's an interesting observation. And maybe that Shadab smile is a very important part of that. You know, he's sensing fun in this cricket, and he's therefore spreading that gospel amongst his players. And to see a team having fun as they are tells you they're A, happy in each other's company, and B, they're winning. So I think he's pretty shrewd tactically. I think he used his bowlers pretty cleverly this evening, actually, who he swapped to bowl to who with those matchups. So all round, I think their leadership's really good.
Absolutely, and they've got somebody like Jason Holder who's been leading from the front with that ball. Let's have a quick look at the wickets of Multan Sultans.
Yeah, started off with a smart catch at points, Shadab Khan. And United, whenever there was a partnership, they got a wicket. This was a very important break. Usman Khan trying to cut away, slightly more bouncing, more difficult bowler to cut. And then the pull shot went straight to Colin Munro. It was a bit of a send-off, bit of healing to the game too. And then this one, Rizwan, the celebration from Shadab, it shows that the plan has worked. And again, hit in the air, boundary rider takes the catch. Very good on the boundary. And then again, short ball, it is pulled flat, but again, very confident at the fence. So they're not dropping anything, they're very good in the field. And this was quite planned as well, the wide sort of yorker. And then they made sure that Multan, although they were almost up with the run rate for a bit, but they kept on taking wickets, which in the end made sure that they won the game comfortably.
They seem to have a side, Mark, which has wicket-taking bowlers, because we talk about Pindi historically has been a great venue for batting, and one of the things that everybody talks about is the length, the length that you should be bowling at, and they seem to have got that right, their bowlers.
Well, they talk a lot here about hard length, which means back of a length into the pitch hard to get that little bit of extra kick at the batsman that hurries his stroke. And I don't know that that's necessarily the answer, because I haven't been here for this tournament before. What I've seen here is good variety from Islamabad United. I've seen them offer lots of options to their captain with the ball. I've seen intelligent bowling. The best examples of that came with the two bouncers that got wickets from Jason Holder and the wide ball bowled by Imad Wasim inside the wide line, that very full wide line. That Chris Jordan's a dangerous ball striker, and they closed him down and got him out quickly. So I think their thinking is right and their execution is very good. And that is, again, it's a sign of a team that's confident and playing well. That's the point I made earlier. It sure rubs off on everybody. And that enjoyment comes out of your cricket when your plans are working.
And in all three games, Baz, they've managed to bowl out teams under 160 in all. So that's again indicative of the fact what we're all talking about, the fact that they have wicket-taking bowlers who are executing their plans really well.
And look, we had Mike Hesson a couple of nights ago sitting right here, and he told us how important fielding was. And I think at the moment, if you look at sort of successful catches that they've made, they'll be right up there, because I can't remember maybe one or maybe two catches that they've actually shelled. There's one today that they shelled, but otherwise, whenever the balls got in the air to the fence, they've been able to haul it in and catch it, and that makes a huge difference. Yes, you can have the bowlers, but if you're not taking chances in T20 cricket, it comes and bites you, and the other teams have to catch up in the field too.
Well, there was a point where there was a partnership at the top for Multan Sultans, but of course, the turning point of the game was that crucial wicket of Usman Khan. Remember, he scored a couple of centuries in the last HBL PSL 10 on this very ground, so his wicket was always going to be crucial. It's also a turning point of the game.
Well, he played really well. I mean, he's a devastating player. He's made 200s on this ground before today, and he just, that little bit of extra bounce, that little bit of extra spin, that little bit of everything that forces the error. And I mean, the old pros would say you should roll your wrists and hit it down, but of course a lot of these guys are trying to hit it over the top anyway. But he just got done by the overspin on the ball as much as anything else, and his frustration was absolutely obvious to us all. Excellent talent, fascinating to watch, unusual technique, and huge frustration when dismissed.
Well, Bazid Khan was talking about their fielding, that it's been an aspect that's also been a standout for Islamabad United. They took some good catches today. Let's have a look at the catch of the day for us. It's by Mohammad Shahzad, and the wicket was of Mohammad Rizwan. Of course, it was always going to be an important one because he's somebody who's got runs at the top in that previous game as well, 100, a well-made 100. So let's have a quick look at the safe hands for today.
A moment in the game where Rizwan thought I'll just set free. Shadab had sort of not allowed him to hit too many. And the first chance that he's taken has gone down to deep mid. It's gone pretty flat. And Shadab mentioned as an emerging player to be able to be so confident under pressure is a good omen.
Well, that celebration by Shadab Khan, Baz, I mean, Mark was touching upon the fact that he's been quite impressed with his captaincy, but just looking at where he's come so far, he's been struggling with his own bowling in international cricket, hasn't been able to get a lot of wickets, you know, an economy of over 9. But the fact that whenever he's playing for Islamabad United, he seems to be a completely different player. Why is that? And I mean, is it because of different pressures that you face in the international game, or is it just because of the fact that, you know, he enjoys, relishes the challenge of being a leader?
This is where he was made. This is where he was picked up in the HBL PSL, and this is where he found all his stardom from. This is where he kick-started his career. So it's almost as if he's coming home, and it's such a comforting environment for him. He'll be the leader, and also the fact that everybody is backing him. He's the number one. So I think just the environment of him being able to almost do as he pleases, it is absolutely the perfect environment for him. And it's actually, when you come back home and you're all relaxed, he comes back home to Islamabad United, and suddenly you see he's bowling well, he's enjoying his cricket again, and he's also leading from the front, and also as a leader, everybody's happy with him. So I think it's just his home is Islamabad United.
That's a brilliant summary. I'll tell you what, that is absolutely spot on, I think. And I actually think that there is a case. I mean, I know they've just changed the captaincy, but he could lead Pakistan. He revels in it. It gets the best out of him, I'm sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of talk around that as well before. Baz knows all about it in T20s, whether it's going to be him or Agha Salman, and then we heard that Agha Salman has been made captain. But regardless of what's happening in international cricket, he's doing well for his franchise for the last few years. They won last year, and he seems to love bowling as well, which is great for him. On that note, we'll take a short breather and catch you guys on the other side. Well, he's been quite stellar at the top. Sahibzada Farhan, you know, over 600 runs in domestic cricket, has had 4 centuries in this year in T20 cricket. Overall, doing really well for Islamabad United. Let's have a look at some of his boundaries from today.
I tell you, best of all, he picks length. Okay, so if you pick length, you get in the right position to play the shot, and you can nearly always tell it with the back foot shots. That's where he's good. A lot of these guys can play off the front foot. A lot of them are very good with their wrists. A lot of them are incredibly powerful, but he can play off both feet and he picks length, and we saw that tonight. He's a super player, he really is.
He surely has been superb for Islamabad United. It seems to be the story of Islamabad United so far, Baz, because again, somebody who's had multiple chances with the international side where he's been, you know, on the bench, not really got many opportunities, or playing at different numbers. But here, because of the confidence that everybody is talking about, the work, the team ethic, and the influence of Mike Hesson and Shadab Khan, he seems to be coming of age.
Look, he played for Islamabad United previously as well, but this time when he's come in with a stellar record in domestic cricket. He's got 160 and 148 in recently concluded National T20 Cup. Now, the problem with him when he played for Pakistan was, A, he was played overseas, most of his games overseas, and secondly, they didn't bat him at his number. He batted in the middle order as well. So I think now, because he scored so many, I think if he's now selected for Pakistan team, he will never bat other than 1 or 2. I claim this because if he's selected now after these many runs, I think you'd be pretty crazy not to bat him at 1 and 2.
Is there space for him though? Because we're talking about a top order that has got the options of Fakhar Zaman, Saim Ayub, Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan. Pretty much so many options of players that can open.
Look, when he was picked in the Islamabad United squad, you thought, no, he's not going to get a game. But the form that he is in, T20 cricket, I think, is quite a fickle game. You need to be in form in T20 cricket, otherwise you struggle. I think the immense amount of runs that he's made, he deserves a chance. Okay, you put him in the squad, but you should not play him at number 4. If you don't want to play him, he can sit out, but you have to play him at either number 1 or number 2, no other place at all.
All right, it's important to be playing on your number. That's a key message from Baz over here. Let's have a quick look at the table then, just to see where things stand. Islamabad United are right at the top of things because they've been the most consistent side so far. Qalandars, remember, beat Karachi in that El Clasico that we had in Karachi. They were comfortably winning in that one. Then top 4 teams are the ones that will qualify for the playoffs. Don't forget that. All right, the action continues as well. We've got a bit of break in between, but you know, just going to thank all of you here for your thoughts. I'm sure it's time to hit the bed now. Thank you so much for your thoughts, but we will be showing you the refreshing moments of the day.
The most refreshing to everybody is the one that finishes the game, as long as you're dressed in red. If you're dressed in pale blue, it isn't so good. At first I thought he got hold of that better actually, but the Adams and Jason Holder was underneath it. It's as solid as you like when it comes to catching the ball. Then lots of hugs, and why not? Show the love when you're winning. And that's exactly what the United did. They all got involved. Look, wildlife, humans, all out there.
Well, Multan Sultans have a chance to redeem themselves later on, but we've got match number 8, which is going to be live from Karachi. Karachi Kings losing their previous encounter against Lahore Qalandars. It's David Warner's men, and they are up against South Shakil's men with Quetta Gladiators. All right, thank you so much. It's finally time to go home now.
The actual refreshing moment.
That's our refreshing moment. Look at the smiles, you know. We could just stay here, continue pitch side, continue talking. I think that's what you want, Baz, don't you?
No.
He did think about it briefly for a
He's
few
feeling
seconds.
good nick though, isn't he? He might be tired, but he's been right on it.
Yeah, maybe this is the time when he becomes alive, you know. He's a night owl, basically. Very grumpy in the morning, but, you know, generally really good at this time of the night. Thank you so much once again. I hope you guys enjoyed today's coverage. We certainly did, with Islamabad United really smashing it here today. The action continues in the HBL PSL. Until next time, it's goodbye.